Well, hello again, and thanks for tuning in once more to Classic Dirt Bike TV. And in this next video posting, we're going to take a look at some racing highlights from the inaugural Scottish Twinshock race event for 2021, and this was held at Carden Farm in Powmill on, of course, the 30th of May 2021. Now, this is the first ever race event that I've ever attended for more than a year, so we're going to kick off with the very first race of the day. This is the Twinshock Open Twinshock 250s and the pre-1990 Evolution class. And as they leave the line, looks like quite a good start by Paul Chiappa there on the 490 Micro as they make their way down from turn 1. As you can see, the weather absolutely fantastic for this kind of racing, and it looks like most of the riders have safely negotiated the first 2 or 3 turns. But as we look towards the far side of the track, we're going to pick up our race leader, and it is Peter Graham, number 40 there on the 250 Evolution Honda, who is leading the Evolution class, and I think it's Paul Chiappa just behind Peter on that 490 Micro, who will be leading the Twinshock class. But as they complete lap 1, it's still at number 40, Peter Graham, going very well on the CR250 Honda machine. And number 2 is Paul Chiappa leading the Twinshock class. Number 1 just making his way through there was John Crawford, who was of course the club champion from 2019. Number 15 there is Jim Grieve, as the rest of the riders make their way through to begin at lap 2. So we're picking up our front runners again. It's looks like it's still Peter Graham, number 40, who is leading the Evolution class, and Paul Chiappa here, number 2, is now in second position, just behind John Crawford. Now there is your second place rider in the Evolution class. It's number 9. Tom Grant, also riding what I think is a 250 CR Honda, could possibly be a 500 with the yellow number plates on the side, but is going very well in this first combined Twinshock Open, Twinshock 250 and Evolution class race. We're looking at number 1 there, John Crawford, and John's riding one of those hybrid Honda 500 machines. It's with the frame geometry based around the 490 Micro machine, and as you can see, John's absolutely flying on that big bike. Tom Grant is now beginning to move up towards the front runner of the Evolution class, which is Peter Graham, number 40, who is still in the lead of this Evolution part of the race. Now, of course, we have 3 different classes in this particular race, but obviously they will be scored individually through their transponders that every single bike has on this race. So when their transponder crosses the electronic lap scoring machine, their time and position will be recorded. But we're looking at the battle for second position in the Twinshock class. It's still John Crawford in first position. Number 2 here is Paul Chiappa on the 490 Micro. Third position now is 82. That's David Houston. Now David's riding Tony Kegg's old race bike from back in the day, and Tony of course retired from racing now, but he often lets David Houston borrow his old race bike to dust the cobwebs off the machine at these Twinshock events. But it looks like David Houston is trying to steal that second position from number 2, Paul Chiappa. But we're looking at the leader of the Evolution class at the moment, number 40. It's still Peter Graham on the 250 CR Honda. Second position is number 9, Tom Grant, doing very well at this round 1 event here at Powmill. Number 22 coming towards us is Jordan Doherty on the Olin's 360 Yamaha. And number 25 there is Craig Smith. I think Craig's in third position in the Twinshock class at the moment as he makes his way up the hill. Looks like Craig has overtaken Paul Chiappa. I think Paul's down in 4th position now, so it's first place to John Crawford, second is David Houston. It looks like Craig Smith is in 3rd with Paul Chiappa in 4th, but it's still Peter Graham here at number 40, your leader of the Evolution class, with Tom Grant very close behind in 2nd position. But as you can see, the weather just couldn't be better for this round 1 event here at Powmill. Now this track gets used only once every calendar year by the Scottish Twinshock Club, so normally the track's in superb condition each and every year that they run this event, but it does tend to get a little bit bumpy, as you can see, as the bikes head their way up the hill. So it looks like Tom Grant is now the leader of the Evolution class, with number 40 Peter Graham in 2nd position. But I must say it's great to see Tom Grant back out on a bike again, as Tom had a little health scare a couple of years back, but it looks like Tom's back to full fitness again, and he's certainly not lost any of the speed that he used to have back in the day. As we take a look at number 2 on the left there, that's Paul Chiappa with the green number plates, which should be actually yellow because this is a 490 Michael that he's riding. Jordan Doherty just making his way through there on the Olin's 360 Yamaha. Number treble 2 there, that's Callum Sangster on the 1981 490 Michael. But this has been a good ride by number 9 here, Tom Grant. Got a good start at the beginning of this race and was running in 2nd position for quite a bit, and now he looks like he's taking command of this Evolution class race with Peter Graham there just in the background, number 40. So this race may still not be over yet. There may be a few twists and turns before the end of this race, but it looks like the curse of the commentators is already on this particular race, with Peter Graham now taking control of the Evolution side of this race. So it's Peter Graham, number 40, who leads number 9 Tom Grant in 2nd position as they head up the hill once again. And this will be Peter Graham's last and final lap of this first Twinshock and Evolution race of the day. So it looks like Peter's looking good for his first win in this particular class. So it looks like David Houston is going to win the Twinshock part of this race, and here is your race leader who is heading towards the win for the Evolution class. It's Peter Graham on the 250 CR Honda, and just quite close behind Peter in 2nd position is Tom Grant there, number 9. So that's the first race of the day. That's the Twinshock and Evolution class. Now next up we have the first race for the combined over 50s and over 60s class. Now the rules are for this race that the over 50s can ride either an Evolution bike or a Twinshock bike, and the over 60s can basically ride whichever machine they like. So you may see 1 or 2 modern bikes in this class, and those of course will belong to the over 60s. But as they come towards us, it looks like it's Mark Kenny, number 21, your race leader, as the rest of the pack make their way up the hill for the very first time. But as they descend, it looks like it's number 76. I think that's John Lamont there on the Honda 250. Number 5 was going through there was Alex Joyner. But another good field of riders for this combined over 50s and over 60s class. So we're just waiting to pick up our race leader as he emerges from the far side of the track. It's still number 21, Mark Kenny, who's riding that 2-stroke CR250 Honda. Second is number 76, that's John Lamont. Number 5 is Alex Joyner. Number 7 is Brian Allardyce, who's riding a modern machine in the over 60s class. Number 17 just going through there was Mike van der Meer. But like I said, another good field of riders for this combined over 50s and 60s race. And so as they begin lap 2, it's still number 21 Mark Kenny who's being hounded by number 76 John Lamont. I think John Lamont's riding a CR250 Honda as well, but it looks like an older model, but nevertheless he's very quick on that bike as they make their way across the top section of the track and then descend down the staircase. Number 76 John Lamont in second position as we take a look at some of the other riders making their way down the steps. Quite a bumpy part of the track this, and as I mentioned previously, it does tend to get slightly more bumpy as the day wears on. Number 31 is Dookie Dryden. Now it looks like we have a new race leader at the front. It's number 76 John Lamont on the Honda 250. Mark Kenny is still in second position, but it looks like John Lamont is beginning to open a gap slightly on second place man Mark Kenny. But quite talented riders these guys for over 50s and 60s, and as you can see they're still quite quick on these Evolution machines. So there's your race leader, number 76 John Lamont. Second is number 21 Mark Kenny. Third place looks like it's Morton Hanna. So it's still number 76 John Lamont, your race leader, from number 21 Mark Kenny. And of course the track in this particular year is going in a clockwise direction. Occasionally the club tend to turn the track round and make it go in an anti-clockwise direction, but I think this clockwise direction is the more favoured for the riders. So we're looking at number 10 there in third place. That's Morton Hanna, who's looking to pass Mark Kenny. It looks like he's successfully negotiated Mark Kenny, so this is your new second placed rider, number 10 Morton Hanna on the 250 Honda as well. And you can just see how hard those suspension systems are working on these Evolution bikes to try and soak up the bumps in this quite bumpy Powmill racetrack. So we're looking at number 10 Morton Hanna in second position. And coming towards us is number 7, that's Brian Allardyce, who could be leading the... I was going to say that Brian was possibly leading the over 60s class on this YZ250 Yamaha, but it looks like Brian has locked that back brake going into the turn and appears to have lost a few places. So here is your third placed rider, number 21 Mark Kenny on the 250 Honda. Another very talented rider. Look out for Mark later on in this video riding his 4-stroke Honda machine. There's your second place man, Morton Hanna, just negotiating that quite bumpy part of the racetrack at the top of the hill. But this has been quite a good ride thus far for Morton Hanna, number 10, looking good on that 250 Honda. Quite experienced rider, Morton, been riding these 250 Hondas for quite some time now. Now there's your third place man, number 21 Mark Kenny on the 250 Honda. So this has been another good ride by Mark as well. And as I mentioned, Mark will be back out in the Twinshock Open class with his quite nice 4-stroke Honda machine. So we're still looking at number 10 Morton Hanna as he scales up the hill once again to start another racing lap. Quite a good crowd here as well here at Powmill. I don't know what the rules and regulations with regarding spectators were during this the COVID pandemic, but Seems to be quite a few spectators enjoying themselves here at sunny Carden Farm. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but I think Morton Hanna could be a race leader in this over 50s and 60s class race, because there doesn't seem to be any sign of number 76, John Lamont. Number 356 there is Kenny Hope on his lovely KX250 Kawasaki. But here's your race leader, I think, Morton Hanna, as he heads on his last and final lap of this over 50s and 60s race. I think Mark Kenny now, number 21, is in second position because, as I said, doesn't seem to be any sign of a race leader, number 76, John Lamont. So as he heads towards the checkered flag, it looks like it's going to be a win for Morton Hanna, number 10, and it looks like Mark Kenny, who is just close behind there, number 21, is going to cross that finish line in second position. Now that takes us quite nicely on to the second race for the Twinshock Open, Twinshock 250 and the pre-1990 Evolution class. Now there will be two starts to this particular race, with the Twinshock guys just already leaving the line, and a good start by Craig Smith on the black Michael. So it looks like Craig Smith is your early race leader in the Twinshock class. Paul Chiappa is in second position. Looks like John Crawford is in third, number 1. Looks like we've got a couple of followers there. That's number 47, I think that's Michael Moore there, and number 750 is Brian Alexander, who is one of the quicker riders with the Twinshock class. But here is the start of the pre-1990 Evolution class, and it looks like it's at number 40 who's made a good start again. That's Peter Graham, who did well in that previous race. So we're just picking up our race leaders once again. This is the Twinshock leaders. It's still number 25, Craig Smith. I think in second place now is number 82. That's David Houston on Tony Keagg's old Honda. Number 1 there is John Crawford. In third, Paul Chiappa is fourth. Number 15 there is Jim Grieve. As we take a look at some of the other riders coming through, number treble 2 is Callum Sangster, just being passed by number 18. That's Jim Colligan. So this has been a blistering start by number 25, Craig Smith on the 400 Michael. Second there is number 82, that's David Houston. And it's still John Crawford, number 1, in third place. John Crawford, of course, was the club champion for 2019. So as they make their way down the hill, it's still number 25, Craig Smith, who leads David Houston, number 82. But young David Houston is very quick on this. I think it's a 1983 CR 480 Honda. As I mentioned, this is a bike that still belongs to Tony Keagg, but David Houston gets to race it at these kind of Twinshock race events. So just going through, there's number 2, Paul Chiappa. I think Paul's in about 4th position at the moment. Number 15 is Jim Grieve. Number 18 on the left there is Jim Colligan. Number 13 is Andy Mallock. But another quite good field of riders in this combined race class. So we're back with our race leader again, number 82, David Houston, on that Tony Keagg 480 Honda machine. These 480 Hondas, of course, from 1983 are allowed to race these bikes in the Twinshock class. And many of the clubs tend to allow bikes up to pre-1984 to race with the Twinshock bikes. So there is your race leader of the Evolution class, number 40, Peter Graham just going through with Tom Grant in second position. Number treble 2 there is Callum Sangster once again. Number 18 is Jim Colligan. 13, Andy Malloch just going through. Number treble 3 is Jim Baxter on that quite nice looking CR125 Honda that we filmed in the paddock. Number 750 is Brian Alexander again. He seems to have got going after that collision with Michael Moore. But this has been quite a good run by this man here, David Houston. Had quite a good race in the first Twinshock race, and we're looking at number 25, Craig Smith, with the squeaky micro brakes as he goes into the corner. Number 1 is John Crawford, trying to chase Craig Smith for that second place position. But here's the battle for the Evolution lead between number 40, Peter Graham, and number 90 this time, Tom Grant. And remember, Tom was riding with number 9 in the previous race, but it looks like he's had a change of bike and borrowed another machine to take part in this second race, but nonetheless still essentially the same machine. But it looks like Tom Grant is now past Peter Graham for that first place position, so it's Tom Grant now your race leader of the Evolution class, with Peter Graham in second position. Well, it looks like a good scrap between these two developing as they both head up the hill, but it's still advantage to Tom Grant at number 90. Number 40, Peter Graham, still in second position, so this could be quite a nice scrap before the end of this Evolution race. It looks like Jordan Doherty is parked up at track side here. There's another good battle there between Craig Smith and John Crawford. But this is the battle for second and third in the Twinshock class between number 25 here, Craig Smith, and number 1, John Crawford, on that big 500 Honda hybrid machine. John Houston is already quite a bit way down the track in the lead, so we're concentrating on this battle for second position. Craig Smith, of course, many times became runner-up in the Twinshock Championship, and as yet has not won the championship outright, so maybe hopefully this year could be Craig's year. But it looks now like John Crawford has overhauled Craig Smith for that second place position, so as it stands at the moment it's John Houston in first position, John Crawford in second, and Craig Smith in third place. But here's your race leader as he heads up the hill. It's number 82, David Houston, just passing Kevin Rosey there, number 33. Graham Miller there at number 3 on that Husqvarna. So it's still John Crawford in second position. Craig Smith just coming through in third. Looks like Jordan Doherty can't get that machine fired up again, so he's parked up, unfortunately, track side at the moment. But here's your race leader, David Houston, doing very well on that Tony Kaig 480 Honda. And it looks like young Jordan Doherty is not going to finish this race due to nearly colliding with a rider coming down the hill, in which case he slid off and bent his gear lever into the casing, and the bike was more or less jammed in first gear, and you can see Jordan holding the clutch in as he's pushing the bike back to the paddock. But here's your race leader, number 82. It's David Houston. Looks like he's heading towards his second win of the day. Craig Smith in third position. It looks like John Crawford is going to cross the line in second. So it's a win for David Houston. John Crawford in second position, Craig Smith in third, and it looks like number 40, Peter Graham, is going to win the pre-1990 Evolution class. So that brings us quite nicely along to the second race for the over 50s and 60s class. And as you can see, the weather still absolutely perfect here at Powmill for this kind of racing, but as the riders leave the line, looks like a good start by number 356. That's Kenny Hope on that quite nice looking KX250 Kawasaki. So as they head towards us, it is indeed number 356 Kenny Hope, your race leader. Second looks like it's Morton Hanna. So as they make their way to come up the hill, nice gaggle off right. Oh, looks like we've got a couple of fallers into the turn there. It looks like a collision between number 603 Colin Neal and number 155, that's James Struthers. But here's your race leader, number 356 Kenny Hope, on that quite nice looking KX Kawasaki. You may remember we had a close look at this bike in the paddock in a previous video from this event, but Kenny told me he spent most of the lockdown period preparing this bike, and I must admit he's done a fantastic job in it, and as you can see, he's pretty quick with it as well. Second place man there looks like Morton Hanna. Number 21 is Mark Kenny. Of course, Mark this time is out on his big C&J 600 Honda machine, so hopefully we'll try and get a listen to Mark's 4-stroke bike quite soon. So we're picking up our race leader once again, and it looks like it's still Kenny Hope on the what I think is a 99 KX 250 Kawasaki. A beautiful looking little machine, and as you can see, very quick on the track as well. So it's Kenny Hope as he heads up the hill to start another racing lap. But as I mentioned before, these Evolution bikes certainly getting a workout here on the bumps of this Powmill racetrack. It's not the kind of track that would suit a vintage motorcycle because of the many bumps and potholes, but these Evolution bikes can certainly cope better with these kind of conditions. So it's still Kenny Hope, number 356, followed by number 10, Morton Hanna, who's in second position. We're just waiting on our third placed rider coming through, that's Mark Kenny. And let's just have a quick listen to this 4-stroke Honda. So it's still number 356 Kenny Hope, your race leader. Second should still be Morton Hanna, quite close behind. But this has been another excellent ride here by Kenny on the KX Kawasaki 250. These 1990 KX Kawasaki 250s, of course, it's still using the steel frame. These were the days before Kawasaki then moved on to aluminium frames for their motocross machines. Number 135 there, I think that's Mark Dempsey, or Deeps as he's known. But it's still number 356 Kenny Hope, just ahead of this man here, number 10 Morton Hanna on the CR250 Honda Evolution machine. Number 21 again, Mark Kenny on the C&J 600 Honda. Now you may remember we had a look at this bike in the paddock in a previous video, but we will take a closer look at this bike in a future video here on Classic Dirt Bike TV. But it looks like things are hotting up at the front between Kenny Hope and Morton Hanna. Morton Hanna looks like he's ready to make that move to take that pole position. It looks like Morton Hanna has taken the inside, so Kenny Hope now down to second position, but I don't suppose Kenny will give up without a fight. So we're looking at Mark Kenny once again on that beautiful 4-stroke Honda machine with those twin tailpipes at the rear. But But it's still at number 10, Morton Hanna, with that slight advantage over this man here, number 356, Kenny Hope. But this has still been a good ride by Kenny, and I don't think Kenny's ready just to give up that first place position just yet, so this could be quite a nice scrap before the checkered flag between these two quite talented riders. So it's still a slight advantage to number 10, Morton Hanna, over at number 356, Kenny Hope, in second position. Now these over 50s and 60s races, normally 12 minutes plus 1 lap, which is quite a substantial length for these older bikes and older riders on this quite bumpy track, but nonetheless these guys are making good use of their suspension on their bikes on this bumpy track. As we look at number 21, Mark Kenny on that lovely Honda 4-stroker. So it's still at Morton Hanna, number 10, with Kenny Hope in second position. And when Morton crosses the line this time, this will be the start of his last and final lap of this second race. But as it stands at the moment, Morton's looking quite comfortable for a race win. So as he crosses the line to begin his last and final lap, Kenny Hope is still sitting in that second position, who now has taken the lead. So Kenny must have taken a dive down the inside coming down the hill. So it's Kenny Hope, your race leader. Second is Morton Hanna. So as they start their last and final lap, let's see if Kenny can hold on to that prime position in this combined over 50s and over 60s class race. So as our race leader heads towards the checkered flag, it's going to be a win for number 356, Kenny Hope, on the KX250 Kawasaki in the over 50s class. And very close behind, it looks like, in second position and just about to cross the line, is number 10, Morton Hanna, on that CR250 Honda. But it's a win for Kenny Hope. Okay, that brings us quite nicely to the third race for the Twinshock Open, Twinshock 250 and pre-1990 Evolution class. And the guy there without the helmet on is Paul Chiappa, who could do with heading towards the barber shop. But as the riders leave the line, it looks like a good start by number 1, that's John Crawford. Second looks like it's number 750, that's Brian Alexander, who of course had that collision in race 2, but looks like Brian's made a better start in this final Twinshock race of the day. But it's number 1, John Crawford, your early leader. Brian Alexander is in second position. Looks like Craig Smith is in third. As they head up the line, David Houston, number 82, trying to go round the outside. Paul Chiappa just making his way up the hill. And once again, this is the staggered start for the pre-1990 Evolution bikes, who are just leaving the line just about 15 seconds after the Twinshock boys. And it looks like it's number 40, once again, Peter Graham, your early race leader, with Tom Grant in second position, number 90. And you can just see how bumpy this hill is becoming later in the day's proceedings. So as we look for our race leaders, it looks like it's number 750, that's Brian Alexander, who is your race leader at this point, as they come round to complete lap 1. Brian making sure that he made a good start in this race and trying not to collide with people, but Brian's made a good start. Number 1 is John Crawford in second place on that big 480 Honda Hybrid. David Houston is now in third, number 82. Of course, riding that 83 480 Tony Kaig Honda machine. Craig Smith in fourth position there as he makes his way up the hill. But it's still number 750 at Brian Alexander, your race leader. Second now looks like it's David Houston in second position, and It looks like John Crawford has been demoted to third. Craig Smith, number 25, is in fourth spot. But here's your race leader for the Evolution class. It's number 40, Peter Graham, who's been riding superbly here at this round 1 event at Powmill. So it's Peter Graham, your race leader. Second should still be Tom Grant in second position. But we're looking at our race leader of the Twinshock Open class, number 750. That's Brian Alexander on what looks like a 480 Honda machine. And I'm sure you don't need me to tell you how quick these bikes were back in the day when the legendary Mad Mental Danny Magoo used to race one of these bikes, and he was absolutely awesome riding one of those 480 Hondas. But we're looking at David Houston in second position, number 82. Of course, Tony Craig, when he rode that particular bike, was also very quick on it, but Tony tends to enjoy watching the racing these days rather than taking part. So we're looking at number 25, Craig Smith, on the black Michael. I think Craig is in third position at the moment. Another very talented young rider. As I said previously, Craig became runner-up in the championship many times, and for some reason just couldn't manage to get those extra points to win the championship. But who knows, in the future maybe Craig could break his duck, so to speak. But we've certainly been blessed with the weather here at Powmill in Carden Farm. It's not often that we get blazing hot sun at these race events, but we've certainly been blessed here in 2021, and by God, we certainly deserve it after the last year or so that we've been through. But we're looking at number 750, Brian Alexander, your race leader of the Twinshock class. Of course, these pre-1984 bikes are allowed to race among the Twinshock bikes. I'm just catching up with our second place rider. I think that should be David Houston there, number 82, just going through. So as it stands, it's Brian Alexander, your race leader, number 82, David Houston in second. But looks like Brian could be looking good for his first win of the day. But of course, David Houston has already won 2 races in the Twinshock class, so David could be heading for the overall on the day. You just see him just making his way up the hill there. Third position is still Craig Smith. Fourth is number 1, John Crawford now. As we take a look at the leader of the Evolution class, number 40, Peter Graham. Peter's another rider that's had a fantastic day here at Powmill. Looks like Peter could be heading for his next win of the day. We take a look at number 82, David Houston once more. So the laps counting down on this final Twinshock and Evolution, the race here at Powmill. So here's your race leader as he begins his last and final lap of this final Twinshock and Evolution class race here at Carden Farm in Powmill. It's still number 750. That's Brian Alexander, certainly making up for that collision that he had in race 2. So it looks like Brian looking good for his first win of the day as he heads towards the checkered flag. And don't forget, we will be bringing you more Twinshock and Evolution and even classic and vintage racing here on Classic Dirt Bike TV, so make sure you subscribe to my channel to see that. So it's a win for number 750, Brian Alexander, and in second place it's David Houston. So that brings us quite nicely to our final race for this highlights video from Powmill, round 1, and it's the over 50s and 60s class, race 3. And as the riders leave the line, it's a stonking start by Mark Kenny on that big 4-stroke Honda machine. A beautiful looking bike this, and Mark was telling me it took almost a full year and then some to put this bike together, but it looks like it's paying dividends for Mark, as he's already grabbed the whole shot with, it looks like, Morten Hanna in second position as they both head up the hill, but it's the advantage to Mark Kenny. Number 21, Morten Hanna, close behind as they make their way down the steps. As you can see, the track very, very bumpy now as we get into the later stages of this event here at Powmill. So as we look to the far side of the track once again to pick up our race leader, looks like it's number 10, Morten Hanna. Second position is Mark Kenny, number 21. Third is number 356, that's Kenny Hope, the winner of the last race. And just making his way through on the left hand side there, number 7 is Brian Allardyce. You may remember Brian had a little spill in that previous race while he was doing quite well. Number 58 there, that's Ian Clark on that Castrol CR500 Honda machine. But we're looking at the second and third places. Number 21, Mark Kenny on the 4-stroke Honda bike. Suzuki front end on that particular bike with those Maxton rear piggyback shocks. Kenny Hope is just behind Mark as they make their way up the hill, but it's this man here, number 10, Morten Hanna. Second is now Kenny Hope. Mark Kenny looks like he's been demoted to third position. So it's this man here, number 356, Kenny Hope on the KX250 Kawasaki man, who is your second placed rider. Number 21, Mark Kenny on that lovely Honda in third. Now the riders tend to get quite tired on these bumpy tracks as the day goes on, and it's quite harder to hold on to the bike, but these guys of course are professionals, so hopefully we won't see any incidents of that happening. But we're looking at number 356 in second position, Kenny Hope on his 250 Kawasaki. A quite nice looking bike, and of course we covered Kenny's bike in our paddock video, which was previous to this, and we had a closer look at this lovely bike that Kenny had totally refurbished over the course of the year of the pandemic. But it's still number 10, Morten Hanna, your race leader. Morten's riding that CR250 Honda, of course. These 89 CR250 Hondas were certainly one of the better machines that Honda built during the time. Number 356 again is still Kenny Hope in second position. So it's still number 10, Morten Hanna, who's already starting to pass some of the slower riders on the track. But this of course will be the final racing highlights race from this round 1 event here at Carden Farm in Powmill. I do hope you've enjoyed some of the racing from this event. I may cover more races from the Scottish Twinshock Scramble Club's events in 2021. But of course coming up next on my YouTube channel will be racing from the Scottish Classic race event at Straven next weekend. And it looks like number 10 Morten Hanna is going to be able to cruise to the finish line. Doesn't look like there's much of a challenge in second place as it stands at the moment. We're looking at number 21, Mark Kenny, in third position. Mark was telling me that he has this machine and also another couple of HPF Honda bikes, so it's obvious that Mark likes his big 4-stroke Hondas. So we're looking at number 356, Kenny Hope, as he heads up the hill. Now Kenny, of course, now in second position to Morton Hanna, who is leading this particular race. And Mark Kenny is now in third position. But this has been quite a good afternoon for Kenny on this KX Kawasaki as he crosses the line to start his last and final lap of this race. So as it stands, it looks like it's going to be a win for Morton Hanna, but Kenny Hope here is in second position. We're just looking for Mark Kenny to come through in the background on the 4-stroke Honda machine, and you can just see Mark coming towards us now, number 21. So this has been quite a good afternoon for Mark with his brand new Honda machine. He's had some good results here at Powmill, and it looks like he's quite comfortable on this brand new 4-stroke machine. So as they come towards the checkered flag, it's certainly a win for Morton Hanna, and just crossing the line now is number 356 Kenny Hope in second place, with Mark Kenny in third. So I do hope you enjoyed these racing highlights from this round 1 event here at Powmill, and coming up next on my YouTube channel will be racing from the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club and their round 1 event that will be held at Straven next weekend. So once again, thanks for watching, and thanks for coming back to Classic Dirt Bike TV.